I have always been really proud of being vegan and of living my life in accordance to what I believe to be right. But I have since come to realize that if I am not openly against these violent systems of oppression, if I am not openly against animal exploitation, then in some way I am complicit. There's this saying that if you are neutral in situations of injustice, then you have chosen the side of the oppressor. And even though I'm not participating in it, even though it's not blood on my hands and it's not my money in their pockets, this is still happening. Animal exploitation is still happening. This thing that I am adamantly against, this thing that I believe is fundamentally wrong, is still happening. And so what I want to know is what I can do to end it. I want to know what other people are doing to end it. I want to know who they are, where they are, who they're talking to, and if it's working.
I am Paul Bashir. I am the co-founder and director of AV. I started AV in 2016 here on Burke Street Mall in Melbourne, along with my girlfriend Asal. Since then, we've worked really hard at refining our street activism to what it is today. We do cubes of truth, and a cube of truth is a group of us forming in a square, holding TVs. It then becomes a cube. We show the realities of the meat, dairy, and egg industries and other industries that exploit animals. The reason why we think it's effective to show the footage, the very truth of what's happening in the meat, dairy, and egg industries, and again, other industries that exploit animals, is because many people in society feel entitled to not seeing it. And it's exactly what the industry doesn't want to show the public also. Many people say that they're upset about the fact we show the footage to the public. They complain, they say negative things about it. And my response to these people is the same every time. Our response is, we'll stop showing this footage when non-vegans stop being responsible for it. There's that, and then there's the outreach element to the action where we engage with the public, and only those of the public that stop with us and are open and willing to talk about veganism and animal rights. And our approach specifically to veganism and animal rights is making it only about animal rights and not conflating it with human health, with the environment. We make it very clear that unless you are vegan, you are responsible for animal abuse and the violation of animal rights. And the point of veganism is to not be responsible for animal abuse. That's the whole purpose of that word. The word vegan belongs to non-human animals. So after the last 5 years of doing this week in, week out, I've learned that really the crux of what we do is simply holding non-vegans accountable. There's many things that you can say and do on outreach, and we've said and done it all. It really is as simple as holding non-vegans accountable. If it was just about information and statistics, we would just be standing here holding up brochures, pamphlets, and leaflets. We're not doing that. We're out here to speak to people and engage with them. And it's about establishing whether someone's open and willing to have this discussion about veganism and animal rights. And if they are, then holding them accountable is the most effective thing you can do. And once they really understand why they need to be vegan, which is simply that you otherwise are responsible for animal abuse, then they will become vegan if they can connect to that.
Going to AV and talking to Paul really made me call into question the past 5 years that I've been vegan and whether I was muddying the term, because I used to think that, environment and health were valid reasons for being vegan, and for thinking that, baby steps could possibly be effective in getting someone to slowly transition into a fully vegan lifestyle. But I guess I really just have to respect AV for being really clear-cut and consistent with their approach and focusing on this as solely an animal rights issue, and for holding people accountable to the terrible things that they are putting these victims through. And the more I hang out with AV volunteers, the more my horizons are broadened. And early on, one of the things that I learnt about was this other form of activism called chalking.
Chalking is writing a message on the pavement. People can see it, people can read it, people can ask you why you're chalking, people can ask what you're writing about on the pavement. It's just a great way to have bystanders, actually see people that are vegan, because many people don't know many vegans, and they're exposed to one. It's like, oh, wow, they're an actual vegan, because we are a huge minority. And when people see that, they can say, oh, this person is really, really like fighting for these animals. There must be something to this. So when I look for an area where I'm going to chalk, I would look for big pavement areas or high foot traffic, small pavement areas. To go out and chalk, you need hands and you need chalk and a pavement. That's all you need. There are thousands of vegan activists that do chalking, maybe 30 people that I know personally that do vegan chalking in Melbourne, Australia.
My name is Mika. I'm an animal rights activist and just want people to aware that what's happening to the animal agriculture and fishing industry. It's all connecting, and we killing lots of sea animals. We can't count because so many of them. So we killing them and also killing ocean and be killing us. So we have to stop this immediately. So we want to spread this message. Yeah, I'm Japanese, so I used to eat lots of fish. I didn't feel any sympathy for the fish and other sea animals. Since I become vegan, I research about the fishing industry and also the dolphin, other sea animals. They suffered in a lot of ways. Chalking is very peaceful, just writing the message. If people interested read and think about in the mind, so that is really great way to advocate for the animal. Personally, I love it because it's so therapeutic, writing and drawing the animals. It was really great today. Lots of conversation happening today, and some people are open-minded, so great to come here. And good for us and good for the animal, and yeah, hopefully people read more truth and think about it.
I found chalking to be probably one of the most enjoyable forms of activism. I really enjoy being creative, and I think it's an effective and also fun way to share a message about veganism. And so we're going to go from, one of the most enjoyable to probably one of the least enjoyable forms of activism that I've experienced. And I was told that, this is something that every vegan should do at least once. And so I picked up a few of my friends and I drove to Gather Cole Slaughterhouse in Carrum Downs to attend an animal rights vigil.
A vigil is an opportunity for attendees to bear witness to the animals that are en route to a slaughterhouse. And when we say bear witness, it's really to, view them, capture footage and photos of them, see them as individuals and share their stories, if you like, with other people. So we've been doing vigils here for 3 years. And over the last sort of 18 months, we have developed a relationship with the management and formed an agreement to safely stop trucks so we can have a couple of minutes bearing witness to those animals.
I think safety is critically important. When organising an event like this, we consider obviously the safety of the attendees. We also take into account the safety of the employees who work here, and probably most importantly, the safety of the animals. A lot of the animals that arrive on these trucks are already feeling very stressed from their journey, and they're feeling very nervous about what they're coming to. And so we need to be very, very careful when we are filming and approaching the trucks to be mindful that these are prey animals and that our presence can be very frightening to them. So we're very mindful of that. So we factor all that in. That's why we have meetings before the vigil, and then we do a debrief afterwards. And we discuss any concerns. We make sure people wear their safety vests. We talk about all the different rules around appropriate behaviour, and we ensure that everyone has read the SAVE Code of Conduct and that they agree to follow that. And that's the basis for all of our vigils.
think people have various reasons for wanting to come to, something like this. And that could range from, feeling really, I guess in a sense, empowered to at least have the opportunity to document, if you like, I guess not exactly the final moments, but, that final journey of those animals. In a sense, that can feel empowering in a situation where we actually do feel helpless to actually stop, the large rate of animals that are going on journeys like this. For some people, it might be the first kind of activism that they've done, that they've witnessed trucks driving along with animals on board, for many years, probably maybe all their lives. But this is maybe one of the first times that they've actually got involved in any sort of activism.
Sometimes there's a small group of people, sometimes there's a large group of people, but everyone comes with a sense of sorrow. It's almost like attending a funeral. And people obviously come for as many varied reasons as you can think of. But afterwards, when people are sharing their images on social media, which is what we want them to do, it reminds people who haven't made the connection yet that these animals are individuals and that they value their lives. And in the sharing of the images and in the stories that we tell, it perhaps raises the consciousness of other people who haven't considered that before. And I think that that's really, really important, and that's why we keep doing what we do.
Attending the vigil was a really intense experience, and it didn't really hit me till after, just the realization that this was one truck on one day at one slaughterhouse in one country. And I can't even begin to imagine just the magnitude of pain and suffering inflicted on animals by humans. And the other volunteers and the organisers were really amazing because they understand that this can be a really emotional experience for new activists such as myself. And in fact, all the volunteers that I've met over the course of this project have been really understanding and inspiring in the fact that they are willing to stand up for what they believe in. And there's so many incredible organisations here in Melbourne that I can't even begin to delve into. Organisations like the Save Movement, like Vegan Rising, like Sea Shepherd, like Animal Liberation Australia, like Animal Justice Party. And they're all working in different ways, whether it be educating the public and doing outreach on the streets, whether it be taking a stand against specific industries, or whether it be on a legislative level, creating policies to actually protect animals. But in the back of my mind, there's still this question of, is it enough? Is it actually creating change? And is it even possible to create a vegan world?
It may take a lot longer than I would like or anyone would like to get to the end goal, which is for non-vegans to be vegan. But change is slow, and it's proven to be that way throughout all of the other injustices that have occurred throughout human history. Every rights movement out there has taken longer than it should have to actualize. So unfortunately, I don't doubt it will also occur within this movement. So we have to be patient and keep playing our part. I know from my position that I'm just going to keep chipping away at this until I'm dead. And by the time I am dead, I expect to see a world where a bacon though comment is frowned upon the same as a racist slur.